The weight of a word. Why your yes matters more than you think. We're living in a world absolutely flooded with noise opinions, empty promises, broken commitments. It's everywhere. People say what sounds good in the moment, but how often do they truly mean it? Here's the hard truth. Words have become cheap. We toss around yes and no like confetti, without stopping to ask, do I actually mean this? Will I really follow through? But here's where it gets powerful. In this noisy world, your word can either become just more noise or a quiet force that changes everything. Let me tell you a quick story. I have a friend named Josh. Josh isn't flashy. He's not loud. But there's something about him that everyone respects. Why? Because when Josh says, I'll be there, you don't have to follow up. You don't have to double check. You just know he'll be there. It's simple, but it's rare. And that simple consistency, it's made Josh one of the most trusted people I know. Here's the thing. His word is his reputation. And over time, that reputation has built him a kind of quiet power, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself, because it's already solid. Now, think about this through a spiritual lens. Jesus, in Matthew 5:37, said something that seems almost too simple. Let your yes be yes, and your no be no. At first glance, it sounds like basic morality. Like, just be honest. But it's deeper than that. Jesus wasn't just teaching personal ethics. He was revealing a principle of spiritual authority, because when your words are pure, clear, and true, when you consistently back up what you say, your voice gains weight. It starts to carry power. Why? Because people and even the spiritual world know this is someone who means what they say. And in a world full of broken promises, that kind of integrity, it shines like a beacon. So here's the question we're unpacking today. What if Jesus' call to integrity isn't just about being good, but about building a kind of strength that makes you unshakable? The trap of modern mask-wearing, how we dilute our own words. Let's be real. We live in a world obsessed with appearances. We've become experts at sounding good, even when we don't fully mean it. Think about how often these slip out of your mouth. Sure, I'll be there, while knowing you're secretly hoping they cancel. Let's definitely catch up soon, but you have no plan to make it happen. I'm totally fine, when deep down, you're anything but fine. Sound familiar? This is what I call modern mask wearing. It's subtle. It feels harmless at first. And honestly, sometimes it's easier, because we all want to be liked. We want to avoid awkward conversations. We want to keep things smooth, light, and conflict-free. But here's where it starts to eat away at something deeper. Every time you say something you don't fully mean, even those small, everyday phrases, you're quietly diluting the power of your own words. And over time, that dilution builds up. Your yes stops being sharp. Your promises blur into maybes. At first, people might not notice outright, but they begin to sense it. You say you'll follow up, but don't. You offer help, but aren't really available. You commit, but back out when it's inconvenient. The result, bit by bit, your reputation becomes thin. People smile, but trust less. They nod along, but don't count on you. But here's the scarier part, and this is the real trap. It's not just about what others think of you. It's about what you start to think of yourself. Because every time you speak words that aren't solid, you send a silent message back to your own heart. My words don't carry weight. My promises don't really matter. And what happens next? You lose self-trust. That quiet inner confidence begins to erode. You doubt your own ability to follow through. You procrastinate more. You start setting goals, but deep down, you don't believe yourself anymore. It's a vicious cycle. The more you dilute your words, the weaker you feel. The weaker you feel, the easier it becomes to keep diluting. And soon, integrity feels like something distant, out of reach. That's why Jesus' command hits so hard. Let your yes be yes. It's not just a call to honesty, it's a blueprint for strength. Because every time your yes is pure, focused, and true, you don't just build trust with others. You rebuild trust with yourself. So here's my challenge for you today. Be honest. When was the last time you said yes and knew deep down you weren't fully committed? Write it down. Name it. Because awareness is where change begins. Sharpen your words. The art of saying less, meaning more. Let's talk about something we don't hear enough in a world that rewards loudness and over-explaining. There's incredible power in being quiet but precise. Most of us feel pressured to fill the silence. We think, if I say more, people will believe me more. If I explain every detail, they'll trust my commitment. But often, the opposite is true. The more we talk, the easier it becomes to waffle, backpedal, or overpromise. And before we know it, our words lose their sharpness. We say a lot, but mean little. Now look at how Jesus taught. His words were simple, direct, clear. No fluff, no overcomplication. But each sentence, it hit like a hammer. It stood the test of time. Let your yes be yes. 4 words. But it carries the weight of eternity. Why does simplicity matter so much? Because when you speak less but with full conviction, every word lands heavier. People don't remember long-winded promises. They remember the few words that actually came true. Think of the people you respect most. Are they the ones who talk endlessly, or the ones who speak rarely, but powerfully and always deliver? Exactly. When you sharpen your words, you're not just communicating more effectively, you're building a spiritual discipline. You're training yourself to mean what you say fully, every time. And over time, that kind of speech becomes a force. It carries presence. It commands respect quietly, but powerfully. So here's a super practical move you can start today. Every time someone asks you for a commitment before you automatically say yes, pause for 3 seconds. Seriously, pause. Let the silence sit. And in that moment, ask yourself, am I ready to stand by this 100%? If I say yes now, am I really prepared to follow through? If the answer isn't a full-body yes, hold back. Because a clear no is always better than a shaky yes. This one habit alone can transform how people see you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. Favor words, stronger presence, and integrity that feels unshakable. Micro-integrity, where real strength is built. When we think of integrity, our minds often jump to the big moments, the dramatic tests, the huge promises. the public commitments. But here's the surprising truth. Integrity is rarely built in those big, flashy moments. It's built quietly, steadily, in the small, everyday choices no one sees. It's in the little things that seem almost too small to matter. But over time, they form the foundation of who you really are. Let's make this practical. You say you'll text someone back. Do you? You promise to help out with a small task. Do you follow through? You tell yourself, I'll get up early tomorrow, or I'll exercise today. Do you keep that promise to yourself? It might seem tiny. It might feel insignificant. But every single time you follow through, especially on the small stuff, you're laying down a brick. And brick by brick, you're building a structure, your personal reputation, both in the eyes of others and in your own heart. Because here's something we don't talk about enough. The person you become is shaped not by your big words, but by your small follow-through. The way you handle those tiny commitments teaches your heart one of two things. I can trust myself. Or, my promises are flexible. And over time, that internal message grows louder and louder. I love the way this truth lands. The small things you honor shape the big person you become. It's not sexy, it's not viral, but it's real. And it's where true strength is forged. So here's your challenge for today. Grab a notebook or your phone and write down 3 small promises you've made recently to others or to yourself that you haven't followed through on yet. It could be replying to that message you've been ignoring, tidying up that corner of your room you keep putting off, making a quick call you've been delaying. And then do them today. Because every time you complete a small promise, you send a powerful message back to your heart. I am someone who follows through. I am someone whose word matters. And that's how integrity is really built. Consistency in the storm. When integrity is tested most, it's easy to keep your word when everything is smooth. When life is convenient and following through costs you nothing. But the true test of integrity, it shows up when things get messy. When keeping your commitment becomes hard, uncomfortable, even painful. That's where real character is forged. Let me tell you a story. I know a guy named David. He once promised to help a friend move to a new apartment. Simple enough. But the day of the move, a massive storm hit the city. I'm talking flooded streets, sideways rain, the works. Everyone expected David to bail. It would have been understandable, but he didn't. He showed up, soaked to the bone, carrying boxes through the rain. No complaints, no excuses. That moment, it wasn't about the move anymore. It became a defining picture of who David was, a man whose word wasn't dictated by comfort, but by conviction. His friend never forgot it, and honestly, neither did anyone else who heard the story. Because when you keep your word in the storm, people don't just notice, they remember. That's the thing about integrity. It shines brightest when it's tested the hardest. And let's be real, we all have moments like that, commitments that felt easy at first. But now they've gotten heavy. They've gotten inconvenient. Maybe it's a promise you made to a friend. Maybe it's a commitment you made to yourself, like sticking with a new habit or seeing a tough project through. Right now, I want you to pause and ask, what's one commitment in your life that feels heavy right now? What's one thing you've promised and you're tempted to pull back, to let slide? That's your storm. And that's exactly where your integrity has the chance to go from good to unshakable. So here's your challenge. Show up fully. No shortcuts. No half effort. Because those are the moments that shape who you really are and how deeply others will trust and respect you long after the storm has passed. The quiet power of integrity. Pause for a moment and let this truth settle in. In a world addicted to noise where everyone's scrambling to be seen and heard, true integrity moves in silence, but leaves the deepest impact. It's like quiet, thunder-steady, unstoppable, and impossible to ignore. Integrity doesn't need applause. It doesn't bend or waver. But when your yes is truly yes and your no is truly no, you become the kind of person this world is quietly desperate for: unshakable, trustworthy, and rare. That's your hidden power. It surrounds you like an invisible armor, and no storm, no pressure, no shifting culture can take it away. If today's message sparked something deep inside you, if you're ready to stop blending in and start living with quiet strength, share this with someone who's ready for that same shift. And hey, if this hit home for you, do me a favor. Like the video, drop a quick comment about your biggest takeaway, and hit share. You never know who might need to hear this today. And don't miss what's next. We'll dive even deeper into how to build bulletproof character, the kind that earns lasting respect in a world full of shifting values. Until then, be the one whose word never wavers. Let your integrity speak louder than anything else ever could.